Welcome to Incorporating Superpowers. I'm your host, Justin Recla, and today we're talking to Robert Palinkas, who is really just doing some great stuff in the marketing world. So we're gonna be talking to Robert about how you can gain confidence with innovative marketing strategies. So I'm super excited to have Robert on the show. He's doing some really great things out there in the world. We met on the Marketers Cruise. Cruising down to Mexico. So we had a lot of fun there. Robert, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great.
Okay, so as we do with every show, Robert, we like to call the elephant out in the room as to what's going on in the industry, what everybody's kind of looking at and seeing and understands what's going on out there, but they don't really like what's going on. So what is the elephant in the room when it comes to marketing that people see and they're just not really calling out?
I think that one of the main things that nobody's actually even talking about, because it's so obvious, when it's kind of a can't see the forest for the trees situation, is that we allowed the whole marketing area to be dominated and the conversation to be dominated by tools providers. And everybody is working with these bright and shiny objects. And nobody seems to know anymore what the basics of marketing are, right? And I think that's one of the biggest problems. And the other one I see is that innovation is kind of almost extinct. Everybody's copying what they are doing. So creativity is almost like an unknown quantity at this point. Like nobody's creating anything. It's just, let's copy what someone else is doing. It's like, where are the proven systems? Where are the step-by-step blueprints and whatnot? What nobody seems to be doing, or almost nobody seems to be doing, is something new, something actually innovative.
I couldn't agree more. Is that it seems that businesses have fallen victim to just, it's the way you do things, right? It seems that we're all at the mercy of Google, or we're all at the mercy of Facebook, and all it takes is any one of those platforms to make a slight tweak in their algorithms and their keywords, and now all the marketing that you did is gone, is worthless, and they do it intentionally, right? And they do it because they know that by adjusting, they can charge you more money. Now you're going to have to jump through hoops and trying to figure out what their systems are, because every time you crack the code, and they see this, right? We see it in Facebook. Facebook did it with Facebook groups, right? Facebook groups were this thing, and then all of a sudden you were talking to your entire audience of 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people in your group, and now they throttle it, and you're only talking to 100 people. So talk to me. What are some innovative things that people can be doing for marketing themselves that doesn't keep them enslaved to some of these tools?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think the slavery that you're talking about comes from people not paying attention to the fundamentals anymore, but paying attention to what tweak can I do, or what little tools I can insert into my process, and trying to see everything through numbers and conversions, and the human element is kind of missing. But if you think about it, it's like the market itself in marketing is where people are supposed to meet and exchange something valuable for something valuable, right? That's the basic fundamental concept of marketing, but that's the least thing people pay attention to these days. They have the tools, and they think that they are just one tool away from having this great success. So what I think they should be doing is looking at the actual fundamentals, and I have my own approach to this, and I broke it down into 3 very simple elements that if you do them, if you pay attention to them, then what you're going to end up with is valuable marketing assets that you can just invest in, like invest in advertising, and they will always return a profit for you. And those 3 things are, first, value, which is obvious. It's very obvious that you have to provide value, but no one seems to talk about the details of how you do that. I'm going to get back to the moment to that one. The second one is you need to prove that value. Something that is valuable in your mind is not enough. So I'm a testing maniac personally. So what I teach people is that the biggest mistake they can make in marketing is coming with an idea and then implementing it. That's the biggest mistake you can make. The step that is missing is testing, proving your idea, because you only want to invest in something that is actually a profitable investment. If you don't test your ideas, then you're going to lose your investment, obviously. And the third step is actually profiting on that investment, which is the point where you arrive to having that marketing asset that works for you. So you don't have to slave in marketing all the time. You either have a marketing job or you have a marketing asset. You can choose which one works. It's either you or the asset. And I told you that I want to get back to the value thing for a moment because it's so interesting. I've been doing so much research on this, and this is one of the most exciting parts for me because it's so simple, but people so don't know how to do it. Like you go online and you search for advice on what should I do to get, insert any topic here, right? Like more traffic, more conversions, more visitors, more customers, and the advice goes.
We're in the era of that's where people go to get advice. Is they go to YouTube, they go to everybody out there that's doing something. They're trying to figure out if it's going to work. So what's the secret sauce?
Well, so just as you said, they go to this big pile of whatever, right? It's like that's what the internet has become. It's the polite name to call it is content. The real name is more like a dumpster content, right? It's like there's so much stuff, and the advice goes something like, if you want to have more conversions or if you want to have better content, then make sure it's something that is valuable to your target audience. Thanks for the great advice. Like, how do I know what is valuable to exactly? Like, it's so easy to say, but it's so academic, right? Like, how do you create more value? Well, I have a very simple formula for that. Value is created by difference. And that is true in so many ways. I have like more than a dozen tools just to help you find differences that you can insert into your marketing and even product development. And they will make the value something bigger, better, nicer, whatever. Like they will increase the value. Just a few examples. Companies get into a price war often, right? It's like the only differentiating factor they can think about is the price. So why is that? Because their difference versus their competitors is not that big. So the trio that I told you about, this value, proof, and profit, only works if the first thing is right, which is you have to have value, which means difference. How does that work? So if you make such a small difference in someone's life, like you're selling toothpicks, okay, then your profit margin is going to be very thin, right? If you're selling something that is so different from everything out there, like I don't like using this example because everybody's using it, but let's say Tesla, right? They are making cars that are so different. Some people like them, some people hate them, but what does it do? They have such a different product from everybody else that they are getting all this free attention. Attention is a very scarce and expensive resource. So just by having that product so different from everything else, they're getting all that free attention that is literally worth billions of dollars, and they're getting it entirely free, right? More like down to earth everyday example would be if you have a certain service and you take your clients from point A to point B, that's your customer journey. They get from having a problem to having the problem solved. Then just a simple exploration of how that journey is or what is before point A. Maybe you can start at a different point, right? Maybe you can go to a different point B, like you can go to point C, you can take them further than your competitors. And those are simple differences you can find in your field, and starts with the marketing, but continues with everything else you're doing, right? I'm going to give you a very silly example again. So let's say that you're an airline, because that's a very simple A to B example, right? So they take
we can frame that up in our heads.
Yep. They take people from point A to point B. So which airline takes me from my door to the exact destination I want to go? None of them, right? Just as a creating.
You got to take a cab. You got to get a ride. You got to go all sorts of different things in order to get on that airplane.
Yeah. So do you think that if there was an airline where the tickets were like, let's say 20% more expensive, but they would pick you up at your home for the price of the ticket and your ride to the destination would be included, and that would be the ticket. So they wouldn't be selling the commodity that they have, which is seats on an airplane, but they would be selling a door-to-door service. Do you think people would pay more for that?
Absolutely, they always do, because they're solving a problem that people are going to have to figure out on their own anyway. So
Yes.
that has value. Robert, let's take a quick pause right quick, because I want to dive down this rabbit hole a little bit further with you. There's so much value to this, and when you're listening to this audio, you can see that the difference to doing innovative marketing is super important. And adding value is really the key place to where it starts. Robert, where can people go find more information about you before we take a break?
I have a very simple website. It's just called fixmy.marketing. And I'll tell you everything I know about that there. There is no sign up, or I'm not asking for email or anything. Just go there and see what I do.
Perfect. Fixmy.marketing. So that's awesome. So go check that out. Stay with us. We're talking to Robert Palinkas about how to gain more confidence with innovative marketing. We'll be right back.
Are you an entrepreneur who speaks at conferences? Have you attended a conference and seen someone on stage you know is guilty of bad business practices? If you want to stand out from the crowd and give your prospective clients peace of mind, then make sure your business is in the Clear Directory. All of our members operate in transparency and are screened annually for frauds and scams. Stand out from the crowd and get in the Clear Directory. Visit clearbusinessdirectory.com/join to sign up today.
Welcome back to you, Incorporating Superpowers. My guest today is Robert Palinkas. We're talking about how to gain more confidence with innovative marketing. And before the break, we were talking about the big pivot point here is starting with the value. What is that value proposition? And stepping away from the way everybody else is doing it, making sure you're testing it, make sure that it is actually providing value. The example that was given right before the break was an airline. Rather than just selling seats on an airplane, but selling tickets that picks you up at the front door, takes you to the airport, gets you on the plane, and takes you to your destination as a value proposition. So, Robert, can you go into that a little bit further as to what people should be thinking about when they're talking about their own value proposition?
There are different things that people find valuable, and I have a whole tool which, if someone goes to the website that I mentioned earlier, that they can just get that tool for free. They can just download it. It's how to make something more valuable using very simple things that you can do just sitting at your desk. And of course, you're going to come up with ideas, and then you have to test those ideas. That was the second point we talked about. And the thing is that just because people are not doing that, they are missing out on so much of the market and so much of the potential customers. And that value creation is just basically sitting down and giving it some thought, coming up with some ideas. Like, it takes creativity. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. You can't read about it online because it's something that you are supposed to create. Like, that's what people miss, like you want to make a profit. Profit literally equals difference. If you're so similar to your competitors, you're going to have a price war. Nobody's going to make a profit. If you're extremely different from your competitors in anything, in something that is valuable for your customers, then your profit margins can be higher. And that sitting down and creating ideas, coming up with something that is valuable for your customers, is the first step. Now, just to give you an example, when people think about if they should buy something at all in the first place, the first difference they have in mind is, what is my point A where I'm at the moment? And what's the point B I want to go to, right? So that difference between the A and the B point is their first thought. But there is this old marketing, like common sense kind of saying that people like to buy from others that they know, like, and trust, right? And I, for a long time, I was saying, oh, that's BS. It's not how it works, because if I want to buy a new car, the personality of the salesman will have very little effect on what I choose, right? It's not like I'm kind of
you've already made up your mind before you even went to the car dealership.
That's a possibility. Or the other possibility is that my decision will be based on what's going to be good for me for the next few years, because I'm going to be driving that car for a few years, and that salesperson maybe talks to me for an hour. So I'm not going to take that 1 hour and allow it to make my decision for me, right? So this know, like, trust, I said, oh, that's not the way it works. And I actually had this aha moment where I said, oh yeah, actually it does work that way, but not because of the salesperson, but because of the customer journey. So I will always select the customer journey, not necessarily a person that I want to buy, where I like, trust, and know the journey. Like if a car is safer, or at least it's perceived to be safer than other cars, then I trust that journey more. Like I trust a certain brand of car more because they have more safety features that I trust, right? So people will choose a journey that they know and I can trust. So this is one very simple thing you can do: is you take a look at that A to B journey and you say, okay, how can I make it something that people know and I can trust? How can I make?
I absolutely love what you're saying, because it is in painting a picture for somebody and highlighting what that value is. You show them, you show the potential buyer, the potential customer, what the value is. And I think what you're saying here is that we have the missing element, right? What we talked about at the very beginning of the show is that human interaction.
Yes.
Where does the people come into play? Where do people come into play when we're presenting something of value to our potential audience? And I think we've gotten lost in the Facebook ads, the Google keywords, and those kinds of things. And this is what really resonates with me, and why I think you and I have connected in this space, is that for us, it's always about the people,
Yes.
right? And it's about the relationship. So how much weight would you put on the relationship aspect of telling the story?
But that's where all the weight is, right? I would put it all there, because if you think about it, think about it as two concentric circles. Like you have a circle here and a circle here, and they connect in the middle, right? So if you take that approach of one side is the circle of the customer, they want value. The other side is the seller. You are the one who provides that value and wants to get a profit out of it. Then the intersection of those two circles is where the market is. That's where buyer and seller meet. And nothing happens, absolutely nothing happens until a seller and the buyer meet. They have a conversation in the middle, that's right.
Yep.
And that's what testing does. That's why I'm a testing maniac. What is testing? People misunderstood testing. They think it's about numbers and tweaking numbers and coming up with something like, let's try a green button instead of the orange button and see if it converts. That's not what testing is.
Let's put it here on the website as opposed to here on the website.
Those things do matter at certain points, yes, but they are like microscopic differences. If you don't have the fundamentals right, they're not gonna make a difference. In the intersection of that circle where testing is, what you are doing is the simplicity of taking your creative idea or taking your value proposition, and you see what people actually value, and you're trying to prove your hypothesis. Like if you're creating a car that goes faster, who values speed more, right?
Yeah.
That's the simplicity of it. But you have to create a hypothesis. It's like the scientific method, right? You have to create a hypothesis first, and then you have to test it. And that always happens in the middle. That's what testing does.
I absolutely love that, because the way that we've been taught marketing up at this point in time has been, you just have to get it into the system or the tool, right? The way Facebook does things, or the way Google does things, or the way Twitter does things. It's very cookie cutter, but what's often left out of those systems is the relationship, is the people. And you can throw a lot of money at a Facebook ad, you can throw a lot of money at Google ads, you can throw a lot of money at all sorts of different advertising tools. But if you haven't done that level of work of what is the journey that you're taking the buyer on, that is spot on. I absolutely love the fact that you've cracked down on that, because that there's too many other people out there, and I get it. It's when I look at it, I mean, the due diligence guy in me, right? The counterintelligence guy at me looks behind the veil and goes, nope, that smells like bullshit, right? Yeah. And it's just like, nope, that doesn't work for me. And I get a lot of people that approach us and then want, hey, market with us. No, we're all about relationships. Yeah. Right. Everything that we do in our business, whether it be the counterintelligence work, whether it be the superpower expert stuff, it's all about relationships. And that journey in of itself is going to carry you so much farther, longer, and create clients for life. So, yes. Robert, I know that you mentioned a tool that you have for free. Where can they go find that information again?
It's on fixmy.marketing.
fixmy.marketing. I absolutely love it. Robert, thank you so much for being on the show today. I look forward to. Are you going to be on the cruise next year?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome.
That's business-wise a no-brainer decision.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to the Bahamas next year, the marketing cruise. Matter of fact, if you're watching this, you can join us. Go to superpowerexperts.com. You'll see there's a link up there under Advanced Superpowers at Sea. Come join us. We'd love to have you on the cruise with us. You get to meet Robert as well. Good stuff. Robert, again, thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you again on the cruise, if not sooner. And for our audience, thank you for watching. As always, we appreciate your loyalty. Go out there, incorporate your superpowers, and make a difference in the world. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.